Welcome back to Motivational Wealth.
Uh,
You know we love a good deep dive, and today we're taking a look at 15 steps to building wealth.
For nothing.
From nothing, that's right. And this is based on insights from folks who've actually done it, So it's like we have this blueprint, for success.
I think what's so interesting is how this whole idea of building wealth, it's like building a foundation in any part of life, really.
Huh?
You need that patience, that resilience, and ultimately what you get is something that really lasts.
It's so true. Building wealth, it doesn't happen overnight, right? It's like
Well,
the source material emphasizes taking it one step at a time, like a
a
marathon.
marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
Yeah, and speaking of steps, the first one is all about mindset.
Yeah.
You have to shift your perspective on money.
Okay.
It's more than just something you spend. It's a tool. You're building something bigger with it.
A tool, yeah. They talk about playing the long game, and I think that's so important, right? It reminds me of that feeling you get when you resist like an impulse purchase,
Mhm.
and then you take that money and you invest it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like you're saying to yourself, I'm building something meaningful here. This is important.
That's such a good point. And, it's not just about like delaying gratification, you know?
Mhm.
The real message is about recognizing that financial literacy is a skill.
Yeah.
You can develop it over time.
Yeah.
None of us are born knowing this stuff.
That is so true. It's a journey for sure. And the source material goes on to talk about action and behavior.
Uh-huh.
And they really highlight how these small, consistent actions can lead to huge changes in your money habits.
It's like those little tiny habits that you see successful people have.
Yeah.
Like Bill Gates, he reads for hours. Warren Buffett, he plays the ukulele. Jack Dorsey, he runs.
Yeah.
Like they've all found ways to relieve stress without spending money.
It's so powerful. It's like they've taken those impulses and replaced them with something that is not only productive, but fulfilling.
Right.
So then there's the 30-30 rule for money distribution. 30% to savings, 30% to rent.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a good starting point. But the source makes it very clear that building real wealth requires going beyond just the minimum.
So true. And that's where things get kind of interesting. The source wants us to think bigger, right? They suggest finding other income sources maybe,
Right.
or acquiring assets like property.
Yeah, you got to lay that financial foundation brick by brick.
Yeah.
And you can't build anything without a vision.
Yeah.
That's step 5. It's about looking beyond the typical 9-to-5 job and, get excited.
Yeah.
Get excited about the possibilities.
I love that. The emphasis on enthusiasm, right? Because building wealth, it shouldn't feel like this chore. It should be like an adventure.
Exactly.
It is an adventure, right? But there are risks, along the way.
Yeah.
And the source material definitely acknowledges that.
Oh, yeah. They want to prepare you for those setbacks, for those failures.
Right.
Because every successful person has probably faced, a few. Even the people who end up in the penthouse probably have some stories about, tumbling down the stairs along the way.
It's about getting back up.
Yeah.
And embracing those risks. Right. It reminds me of that saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Because with risk comes the potential for, incredible growth, really.
Yeah.
Take, step 8, taking the plunge.
Yes. Yes.
It might feel really scary at first, but those leaps of faith often lead to huge breakthroughs.
Think about it like this. Okay, you've worked hard, you've built up some financial stability, you get to this crossroads and you got to decide, do I play it safe or do I push myself further? The source material is like, take that plunge.
Yeah.
Even if it means you encounter some failure along the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And those failures, they're inevitable. But they're valuable lessons.
Yeah.
Step Nilly says you might find yourself back at square one sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bad investment or some unexpected life event happens.
Life happens. It's like that old saying, it's not about how many times you fall down, it's about how many times you get back up. The key is to keep going, right?
Because then you start to see the magic of compounding.
Yeah.
Let's say you invest $100 a month consistently with an average return of, let's say, 7%. After 30 years, you could have over $100,000, even though you only invested $36,000. That's the power of compounding.
Wow, that is powerful. Those small, consistent actions, they start to gain momentum and make a real difference. It's like watching this tiny little snowball roll down a hill, and it transforms into this giant snowball.
Precisely. Step 10 describes this feeling of your investments growing.
Yeah.
Your income streams, they're multiplying. But it's not just about the numbers. It's about a shift in your whole mindset.
Yes.
You're no longer just surviving, you're thriving.
It's like you've built this buffer against all of life's uncertainties, and it gives you this sense of calm and control.
But you can't You can't get complacent. That feeling of rising, it can't be the finish line. It's more like a checkpoint.
Right. It's like they're saying, enjoy the success, but don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Step 11 is all about celebrating those wins, but, doing it intentionally without losing that discipline that got you there in the first place.
You got to strike a balance.
Yeah.
Right. You can totally upgrade your life in ways that matter to you,
Yeah.
but don't fall into that trap of trying to, impress other people.
Okay, I love this next part. Step 12, increasing your capacity, but without the strain.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, can relate to feeling financially stretched, right? So how do we expand without feeling overwhelmed?
Gradual growth.
Mhm.
As your income increases, so do your savings and investments. You're basically expanding your financial world carefully and without putting a ton of pressure on yourself.
So it's like building that solid foundation brick by brick,
Yeah.
and then carefully adding another level when the time is right.
I like that analogy. It's about building on those successes and expanding your capacity to grow. And this leads to a really inspiring shift in the source material.
Okay,
Step 13, investing in others.
now we're talking. This is where we move beyond just personal financial gain and start thinking about that bigger picture.
Yeah, it's about using your success to empower others, to create opportunities, and, just make a positive impact on the world around you.
I love how the source material gives us some really great examples, like mentoring someone, supporting a cause that you believe in, or even just sharing those valuable lessons that you've learned along the way.
It's recognizing that true wealth, it includes those positive ripple effects that you create in the lives of others.
And here's the amazing thing. Helping others, it often leads to all these unexpected opportunities for personal growth.
Yeah, it's like this incredible cycle of abundance. The more you give, the more you receive, not always financially, but in terms of, personal fulfillment, expanded horizons.
It's almost like planting seeds. You nurture them, you help them grow, and eventually they bear fruit, enriching not only your life, but the lives of others.
Beautifully put. And then we reach step 14, which the source material refers to as, you ready for this?
Yes.
The empire.
Now, this is where things get really exciting.
It's about reaching that point where you've built something pretty substantial. You have this diversified portfolio of assets, strong income streams, and a vision that extends far beyond your own personal needs.
You're not just playing the game anymore, you're shaping it, building a legacy that's going to continue to thrive even after you're gone.
It's about creating a lasting impact, building something that will benefit not only yourself, but future generations.
Makes you think about the kind of world you want to leave behind, the kind of footprint you want to make.
And remember, building this empire, it often means diversifying those investments. Stocks, real estate, maybe even your own business. It's about spreading the risk and really maximizing your potential for growth.
Which leads us to the final step, step 15, the end, the legacy. But like you said earlier, it's not really an end, is it?
Not at all. It's more like a culmination of all those risks, failures, victories, leading to something so meaningful, something that extends beyond just yourself.
It's about those values that you embody, the lessons that you share, the doors that you open for other people. That's the kind of wealth that makes a real difference.
And that brings us to the heart of it all, really. True wealth, it's not just about your bank account. It's about the value you create and the lives you touch. It's about leaving the world a little brighter, a little better, because you were in it.
We've come a long way from practical tips on saving and investing to this much broader definition of wealth and the profound impact it can have. What stands out to you most from all of this?
I think for me, it's just the realization that building wealth, in the truest sense, is a continuous process. You're always learning, adapting, growing. It's about finding that balance, that sweet spot between personal success and making a positive contribution to the world. What about you? What resonated most with you?
Yeah, it really is amazing how those 15 steps, they go beyond just the financial advice and they really start to touch on building, a more fulfilling life in general.
It's about realizing that true wealth has all these different sides to it.
Yeah.
It's about financial security, of course, but it's also about personal growth, strong relationships, making a positive impact on the world around you.
It reminds me of that quote, "Money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver."
That's a good one.
And that's so powerful, right? Because you need a vision for your life.
Yeah.
And these 15 steps are kind of like that roadmap to help you, get there.
Exactly. And that vision, it might even change over time, but what's important is to have that guiding principle, that North Star,
Yeah.
to keep you moving forward even when those challenges pop up.
Absolutely. So for our listeners out there, the folks who are just starting out on their wealth building journey, what's like one piece of advice that you would give them based on these 15 steps, of course?
I think I would say, start with your mindset. Believe in yourself. Believe in your ability to learn and grow. Embrace that idea of playing the long game. And don't be afraid to take risks, calculated risks, of course, but always have a solid plan.
Such good advice. It's all about taking that first step, being consistent, and never giving up on that vision. And remember, like the source material really hammers this home. Investing in others, that's a huge part of building true wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. Supporting other people, sharing what you know, contributing to something bigger than yourself, it's going to enrich the lives of others.
Yeah.
But it also brings this deep sense of meaning and purpose to your own life.
That's it for this deep dive into building wealth. Thank you so much for joining us here on Motivational Wealth. Don't forget to stay subscribed so you don't miss out on more, life-changing wealth-building motivation.
It's the best.
It is the best. Until next time, keep striving, keep growing, and keep building that amazing legacy of yours.